Oh, that is Wave 1 is fun.
That was an interesting game.
I have still no idea what I was doing with Decon. I might try them more. They were fun.
I mean, you did well with them. I think you would do better with them if you rolled the appropriate dice for the Oathsworn Cavalry.
If I was able to roll red dice like I'm supposed to.
Well, you put Tempered Steel on your golems, and so your Oathsworn went into battle with wooden swords, and that's just a poor idea.
The cavalry were like, here you go, rock monsters, have our swords. Rally and Fortuna's dice.
Rally and Fortuna's dice is...
disgusting.
You know what? I thought that Heartseeker was annoying. I didn't know what annoying was. Not really. Now I feel like I do. So Fortuna's dice on Kari is something to look out for, I think. I feel like until we get the new hero, until Hawthorne hits, she's going to be rocking that upgrade quite a bit.
She might even be rocking it afterwards, because, like, it benefits anything. Like, your range attack, you dial in the 2 hits. You charge someone, you dial in 2 surge to screw someone else's day over.
As we saw with that last charge, which
just...
I admit I was not even thinking about Kari coming out of her little enclosure, but that last minute charge just brutalized my remaining animus.
I mean,
it was horrific.
It doesn't even matter with Fortuna's dice. If you can flank Kari, the attack doesn't matter. It matters even less, because you're just like, well, I've got precise, so I'm going to at least reliably roll 2 surge. Throwing an extra blue on the flank, I can reliably get 4 surge by just tapping.
I almost feel like in that situation, depending on what unit is you've just flanked, like in this case it was a 6-point Carrion Lancer, support Lancer upgrade. You don't want to kill it. Not really. It's only worth 6 points. But what it is it's a nice base where you can stand there and spit out way more range damage than she normally does just firing at range.
And that's the thing, with the roll that I made, I could have done damage to it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was like, I don't care about this threat.
It's almost suboptimal.
Like, I rolled, and it was... Yeah, so...
Combat Ingenuity. Let's talk about Combat Ingenuity, because I feel like that had the most impact on the first 4 turns. Less so on the later turns.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, you did 7 Blight in the first round.
There's a little bit of Blight. That's just a little bit. Now, it's important to note, Rally removes all Banes. And we've had a lot of people talking about if Blight is good, if Blight is bad. Well, it's not that bad. But the fact is, if
everything
I'm stopping
that was rallying
you...
was stopped.
Exactly.
Like, you held up that 3x3 for, 3 turns? They just stood there being like, well, we're going to toot our little horns to make ourselves better.
Scoot forward when they can, for the most part. Because if you've got 1 or 2 Blight on you, okay, you can afford to run in, miss 1 attack, call it a day. If you've got 7 Blight on you,
I mean, there's nothing else. Like,
you've got to rally.
You're going to be countering Blight with... I see the Rune Golem units being a lot more bigger deal soon, because they have that white. Yep. They are the only non-hero right now that Decon has that has a white rally, I believe. Yeah, like...
I feel like there's something to be said for if you're going to rally with a modifier, setting yourself, like on the Rune Golems, give yourself that 1 shift in the white rally, so you're going late in the round, so all the Blights hit you.
Yeah.
And then trying to dial in the 4 movement for the next charge, so that you're going before the archers can fire with the next round of Blight. Yeah. I feel like the timing there is going to be really important to counter Combat Ingenuity.
Like, I know a lot of people, they don't really like the Rune Golem outside of the support or the frontline Rune Golem, but with just Blight, it's going to be a bigger deal.
I would like to sit here and say, Wind Rune is amazing and won me the game. I used it once and I did something very stupid that got some archers killed with it. I admit I did that because I'm sitting here thinking, I spent 12 points on Wind Rune, and I would very much like to use Wind Rune at some point.
I could have got another group of archers for some of the upgrades I didn't use.
I just realized that I may not have calculated Wind Rune into my final score.
Huh.
Was it 57 to 64?
It was.
Let me check, because I've still got it up on my calculator.
Okay.
Okay, let's just see here real quick. And Wind Rune costs 6 points. Yeah, because I had 12 points on each of my archer units, and I only gave them the 6. So let's go into my history to make sure that I added it up right. Oh, hell. Okay. So I had 57. No, I didn't. So I'm at 69.
Oh. There you go.
69.
Giggity.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
So
adding to the list of mistakes that we made this game was
Math.
forgetting to add in a couple of upgrades.
There has been a lot of math mistakes.
Wind Rune did win me the game.
It did win
Even though all it did was get archers killed in actual game terms. That was a little... We've done a few silly things. A couple of silly things. But it's kind of a silly game.
It is?
Yeah.
It is.
So
you had 15 on him.
Uh-huh. Oh, he was
18
15 here. These guys would be 6 each.
So that's 12.
Uh-huh. I had 18 plus 12 right here.
Yeah.
And then
12.
0 plus 12 right here.
Yeah, so...
Now, I made a terrible mistake there at the end. We both saw. We came up to initiative 4. I had artists set on a charge at 4, which as I set the dial, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have initiative, and I'm going to charge that golem, and he's going to try to charge back, and I'm going to rub it in Luke's face and be like, you can't charge. And I didn't do that.
And I just sat back and let you make that mistake.
I did not do that.
I watched it. I was like, okay, now he's going to activate artists, and then you were like, I'm going to activate these guys over here. And I was
I've got no reason not to take my time.
Whatever, I'll just sit back.
Thankfully, I gave myself enough of a Wind Rune cushion to overcome that particular bit of stupidity.
Thank you, Red Rune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. I saw more green runes this game.
Yeah,
than I generally see. I think I regenerated one... Two? I think maybe a total of 3 reanimates.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's worth noting that as underwhelming as Regenerate may be, just today, we saw the
reveal.
Yeah.
Lingering Dead.
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to be nasty and make that Necromancer really good.
Lingering Dead's going to be a lot of fun, particularly when it comes to keeping archers on the field.
More so Kari.
Yeah.
Archers don't have Regenerate.
They will with a Necromancer.
You can't put a champion on the archers.
Unless
you're doing your homebrew thing where you're just
according to the way I play the game.
All the cards.
So just ignore the fact that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
So do we want to let's go over some stuff that's not been revealed yet? Actually,
let's just talk about the Wave 1 upgrades because they are exciting.
So we've already mentioned like archers and cav. All that stuff has been revealed, but there has been some things in the command packs that have not been revealed.
Kind of surprising and exciting, really.
Yeah, they are really cool. So let's see. File Leader is one of them. So, File Leader. After an enemy collides with you during a charge, perform a attack targeting melee attack targeting the enemy before that enemy's melee attack. This attack can only be performed while the command dial is revealed with a melee attack selected. So, if you attack first, which will be really handy for Dakan because they're actually fast and more likely to be attacked before charge, or if you are Waykar and countercharge with cavalry, which happens a lot.
It happens a lot. I feel like that for Waykar is going to be on reanimates for the most part, and it's going to be for
champion.
Naturally. But it's going to come into play when they have attacked at initiative 4, and then later on the cavalry charges them. They'll be able to get an attack before they do, and that will be a problem for cavalry because they're not that tough before their second action comes into play, when they don't have a defense modifier up. But it's going to have to be a high initiative charge, something higher than 4.
Yeah.
Is that necessarily true? Because there is another interesting upgrade.
Oh, you mean the Raven banner?
Yes.
Not the Raven tabards that we've seen, which are the blue action. Mm-hmm. We have for Waykar, the Raven standard bearer. The initiative of your red actions is decreased by 1.
I think for all the Waykar players out there who have been just eating those attacks at initiative 3, that's going to be very exciting.
Because our nice little red attacks at 4 are modified. Mm. And now with that they can be 3s.
Popping in at 3 when you have the initiative?
Your archer can be at 4.
Oh.
Because the archers can take
they
standards.
Can, because it's a standard upgrade. That is going to be a lot of fun. I had no idea that one was coming, and that is very exciting to me.
Yeah. Dakan have a similar upgrade that is exhaustible, and it reduces any initiative by 1. It is the Raven... the Raven Pennon Bearer. So you may exhaust this card to activate at an initiative value 1 higher or lower than your selected initiative. Use this ability when this unit would activate if it had an altered initiative. So you can go slower if you want.
I'm not even going to pretend to be able to list all the situations that will be useful in. Because that has so much general utility for the timing in this game that I feel like it's going to take some creative players to really get it out there and stretch its legs, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. Initiative is very important. Have we looked at Triumphant Cry? We've seen that one? Yeah, I feel like we saw an upgrade for that, or a preview for that.
Did we do Triumphant Cry? Yes, we did. That's right. That's the, if you destroy a unit, you can move.
You can reform.
Yes.
Yeah, if an enemy you are engaged with is destroyed, you may perform a reform. The Trumpet slot doesn't have that many great upgrades for it right now, I don't feel like. But this one is pretty good, particularly if you're running Death Stars that are kind of unwieldy and end up engaged with a lot of units at once.
I mean, I've been running a lot of Trumpets that I never benefit from.
Yeah. Yeah. Trumpets are... I mean, they're just... They seem like they're just okay. Maybe we're going to get a unit in the future that really gets them... That makes Trumpets work really particularly well. Oh, I like this one. Here we have a Ycar Necromancer upgrade. It's the... what is this? The Champion?
Yes, the
Champion. Is that what that slot is called?
Yes,
it's a Champion upgrade. It can go on infantry. It uses the Necromancer model. Has 2 defense, 1 wound. Captivating Hexer. Enemies engaged with you cannot perform a shift. Now, this doesn't excite me much right now. But every single time I have looked at the Latari, I have thought to myself, oh man, this is going to be such a pain to deal with. They are going to hit me and they are going to duck right out of combat. But with the Captivating Hexer, you're going to be able to lock the Latari right down. I like the look of that a lot.
The Waycar, there's a lot of mirrored cards that we've seen. Aggressive Drummer, Marching Drummer, basically the exact same things as the aggressive Cornison, and Marching Cornison.
Your guess is as good as mine on how to say that.
Waycar, we have the Fallen Hero, which is just the Artifact Bearer.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah, you take a...
That was more or less expected, we just didn't know what his name was going to be. We've all seen the Blighted Vexillum Bearer, and now we've seen him in action a little bit. For 3 points, I love him. I love him. Honestly, if you don't have something... I mean, Terrifying Heraldry is still good. Terrifying Heraldry can't be lost to an accuracy. Blighted Vexillum is just a little bit of extra blight. And when blight is your bread and butter, you want it.
I mean, it proved useful.
I liked it.
It's good defense if you're being charged.
It's not going to swing
just automatically... Well, now I have a blight to spend on you.
Yeah. And particularly if you're running the solo Lancers, that 1 extra blight can make all the difference for mortal striking down, say, a big group of golems. Or some Oathsworn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if the solo Lancer is charging a group that already has that blight on it.
This is true.
Take the tabard.
If charging someone who someone else with Vexillum already charged into. That's what I'm thinking. They come in for a flank, because they've got that really nice, they can, special and then move.
Oh yeah, these guys
or they can charge at high initiative.
These guys are basically right now our counter to cavalry in that they are the things that we can flank with.
Heroes, cavalry, and golems. Yeah, that mortal strike.
We have Nerikal Hexer for the Decon, which is for a skill or perform a skill. Is it skill? That's the skill, right?
Yeah, that's the skill symbol.
Skill. Okay, so skill symbol. I didn't remember exactly what it's called. Choose an enemy at range 1 to 3 in line of sight. That enemy suffers a severity green rune, moral test.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of our rounds, that would have been a 2 or 3.
Yeah. And right now it seems like, at least up until now in the core set, morale has largely been on the side of Ycar, because we just have so many more ways to trigger it.
Yeah.
And we've got our morale modifiers, but that's going to give the Decon a little bit more to work with. It's harder for them to get off morale tests, or at least successful morale tests on Ycar just because we're steadfast against so much, but that is going to help significantly.
So, something that I thought about taking in this list, and I didn't, and I should have, the Rallying Cornison. So, once again, skill. Each other ally at range 1 to 3 may choose to either remove 1 Bane or ready 1 upgrade card. with the sheer amount of blight coming from combat ingenuity. That's going to have some use. And with your spearmen, being able to take that at the tray 2, that's probably potentially useful to just spend 22 points to have a mobile spearman unit running around behind everything, doing that every turn.
Now, it's worth noting that I played a game recently against a friend of mine back in Texas. He goes by Play and Win on the forums. You might see him writing things occasionally. Where his idea was just, how many spearman dials do I have? How many units can I run? Ran 2x1s of them. They can be hard to nail down when there's that many of them. And a 2x1 running wide into a flank is a real problem. And a 2x1 with that, just supporting other units and doing nothing but popping off that skill, could do a lot to counteract, like you said, combat ingenuity and blighted Vexillum Bearer, for that matter. Just removing that one blight could be a real pain. We have, what's that other one that lets you do 2 skills at once? Simultaneous?
Simultaneous order. I thought you
yes.
threw that one at you.
We didn't get to use this one, but it seems interesting now that we've got more cards with skill requirements.
Yeah, there's half of these cards have skill requirements, but so simultaneous orders. After you perform a skill, you may resolve the effects of another of your skill abilities. So 2 for the price of 1. It'd be that Cornison, your champion, your wizard.
Any number of if you put that on reanimates and give them another skill ability plus the support carrion lancer, you'll be able to spit and fire rune. What have you?
Spit, fire rune. We wouldn't be able to fire rune because reanimates can't take equipment for some reason. But
otherwise we'd be shield walling like crazy. Yeah.
Executioner.
Yeah. Just being able to double up on the skills so we're not having to choose quite so much, depending on how you build your list. Death Caller.
You could blight and then Death Caller.
You very much could.
That would
very much could. I think that's again. I haven't run Death Caller yet. I love the look of him. The fact that he deals wounds, not damage, but wounds.
So simultaneous orders is 2, Death Caller is 5, and the support lancer is 12.
Support lancer 6.
6. Sorry, you had 12 points.
Yeah.
So that's 13 points.
That's not much, really.
Not
considering
much
I had
to
almost that much just on my 2x1
to
archers.
just be able to dial in blight, then wounds because of blight. Blight, wounds because of blight. Blight,
you become
wounds because of blight.
like a mini Artis if Artis is close to a Lancer and Archers.
And that can be on top of, like, honestly, in that game that we just played, you could have, if something was behind me, there were lots of times where you could have attacked the guy you were engaged with and then blighted someone behind you.
That's true.
Because they can be engaged in blight.
They can. They just have to blight someone who's not engaged, and they almost always had a tray hanging off the edge.
Yeah.
So the line of sight was open.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very, very true.
Simultaneous order blight forwards.
Mm-hmm.
That would kill any hero.
That is a mean combo.
Yeah. If you have a good RuneCast where it's 4, there's the title of the show. There it is.
Almost
like
that
wasn't on purpose.
Almost like you planned it.
Not smart enough to do that. You can see that from the game we just played. Yeah, this is some nasty things.
There's a lot of exciting stuff in here, and I'd like to talk for a second just about this wave overall. We've just gone over a couple of these cards. There's still a few more, I think, that weren't
we might have
spoiled.
Missed some.
Yeah, we probably did. We're being kind of ramshackle about this whole thing, but we're excited. Yeah. We're excited we got these cards, and you know what? You'll have them here in the space of a couple of days.
Less than a week.
At this point. But this is
by
something...
the time this is edited and released, you might already have them, and you'll be like, why are they spending so much goddamn time?
Look how excited they are, the silly pasto people that they are. But we've talked about this a few times locally. FFG games have a pretty big following in San Antonio. We have a really active community for X-Wing, for Armada, for Imperial Assault, and now for Rune Wars. We've got upwards of 20 players. We've played all the core sets. The Rune Wars core set has the most raw gameplay value, just right out of the box, of any of the FFG core sets that I've played in recent memory. As far as the amount of variation you can get 2 core boxes and suddenly, then you're really cooking with gas.
But you get 3 core boxes and you regret your life decisions because now you're buying expansions that have models that are.
There's a problem that some of us will face, mostly because we're impatient.
Yes, it's pure impatience. Is the biggest argument right now is I couldn't wait. I have 3 cores worth of Waykar. I will never use any of the models from the Archer.
I need more Carrion Lancers. I have no impulse control. Mistakes were made. But this is very exciting to me because we have had a lot of people talking about, well, we're waiting for Wave 1. We want to wait for the Latari to come out for this game to really open up. This wave opens the game up in a huge way.
Oh, yeah. Like, I understand the people that are waiting for the Waykari, or Latari. Sorry, I'm just imagining undead elves.
And the as of yet unannounced Uthuk.
Yeah, however you pronounce
if you're listening. Did you see that there's somebody posted a video that was from one of their videos from the Runebound card game where they did the pronunciation.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. Uthukulan or something like that.
I've already forgotten how to pronounce them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I understand the people that are waiting for those because you might not like humans and undead. They are the genericiest generic fantasy wargame factions.
You think fantasy, you think, well, there's going to be some humans probably wearing blue armor with gold trim, and there's probably going to be some skeletons.
Look like they're dripping with goop.
More often than not.
And
it's an icky business, being dead.
Yeah, it is. Like, can the acid rain that dissolves all your organic bits really melt off everything, or is it going to miss places and you're just going to have little bits?
Have a little bit left in there.
You know.
Don't say my skeletons don't have guts. We've got guts. Not many. Not much. A little bit.
I'm not going to comment on that. They're generic fantasy factions.
Well, they are.
They're yeah.
I think
the elves look cool. There's some creative uniqueness to the elves. There's some. I think there's some uniqueness to the undead, and the rune golems in the Deccan look awesome.
I think as far as a brief discussion of the just the IP as a whole, it is.
Look at how much fun he's having.
He's partying.
He is the original party world.
As someone who is a fan of the aesthetic that they've picked, I fully recognize and admit that when the IP for Terranoth got started, they were just making a game, and someone somewhere in the creative department waved his hand and went, you read like Lord of the Rings, right? Just that. And that was the story. And as time has gone on, as the games have become more popular, as they've released more of them, they've introduced new characters. They had the characters they introduced in Disc Wars that they then carried on into the other games, and then they created the first Darkness and the second Darkness. They're doing what they can to inject their own little flair into it, but the focus is on the gameplay, and I feel like that is the right answer. Because you're never gonna get away from being compared to Tolkien. It's just never gonna happen if you're in a fantasy universe.
No.
Or if you are, you've got a writer working for you who probably should just be writing novels and not writing stories for games.
Yeah, pretty much.
But between the Carrion Lancers, partying skeletons riding poison-spitting worms, four-armed golems with big old swords, with kind of a fun reference to like the golem of Prague or from the Torah a little bit, with the rune in the forehead. I think that's really neat. The fact that they stylize the skeletons so they look like they're carved by Ray Harryhausen, that just tickles me pink. They're doing what they can with what they've got, and I like it.
And not for nothing, the level of detail they settled on makes it a really easy game for new players, new painters to get into it and make a good-looking army. Which is, if they can get more than a third of the player base to paint these guys, they will have passed that hobby level that every other miniature game tries to do. Because I'm just used to playing against unpainted things, and some of the stuff was unpainted. I mean, some of the stuff we literally were gluing together 10 minutes before filming this on May 12th, 2017, 6 days before the release, just for anyone that thinks that this video came out after it was released.
And I unfortunately don't have any of my own figures here today because I traveled here from Texas and was unable to bring any of my own components or models.
So my stuff doesn't look like garbage comparative.
You were kind enough to let me play Waykar despite the fact that we are both primarily Waykar players.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would like to give a shout out to a player because, as you mentioned, this has got more people painting than ever did before. There was an individual back in San Antonio, Patrick Cutter. He paints his models. in the most technical way possible. Everyone there knows what I'm talking about. He is the Sharpie King. He has been Sharpieing his Armada models for so long. He is painting his Rune Wars models. Now, admittedly, he is spray painting them gold, like a madman, Patrick, but he's painting them. And that's something. This game has more people painting that didn't want to paint before than I have personally seen in a while for a new game release. And I feel like that's fantastic. Introducing new people to the hobby should be a big part of our goal as gamers and as enthusiasts.
Yeah, because, I mean, painted models just...
They
make your dice work better.
They do better.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the only reason I was forgetting about the cavalry things was because the models weren't fully painted. If they were fully painted, I would have been like, these are not hitting the way they're supposed to be, I'm not using the right dice.
If they were wash, based, and varnished, you would not have forgotten.
I would not.
You would not.
I have the same story of one of the people here that's Tim Balco, who is a new player to miniature games in the sense that he is... he's been interested in them, but like this is the first game that he's really actually been painting, and we convinced him to paint.
The bar to entry has been really high for a long time.
Are cool looking, like they're really good, and it's just like this is the game that helps people get over the intimidation. Like FFG has partnered with Army Painter, which is all about getting new painters into their games in the most easy to paint fashion.
I mean, while we're on the subject, we should talk about we've gotten hands on with these new figures. They are detailed.
Yeah.
They're intricate. They are, I mean, almost every surface on them is textured to a point. Where's the horn, the trumpet guy for Dakan? His trumpet has these, it looks like hammered brass, the texture does. So, I mean, you're going to be able to slap down some gold, give it like an Army Painter soft tone wash. You know what? You guys will see it. By the time you're watching this, you might have one in your hands already.
Yeah, the detail is there, and it looks
dry
nice.
brush it with light gold and a touch of silver. It's going to look amazing. It's going to look like a paint job that people would spend hours trying to achieve on a smooth surface.
Yeah.
They've done a really great job giving you a whole lot to work with. I'm a little jealous that Dakan's banner is as big as it is. For those of us who do like to freehand, it gives you a whole lot more room than the Ykar banner does, but I'm planning on mostly just drawing, like, copulating stick figures for my profane standard bearer, so I guess I can't complain too much.
You should just write Slurm on the one. Since I think you were telling me now of like 4 of these guys or something?
It was raining Slurm, and it's going to be raining more Slurm in Texas when I get home.
It's rain and Slurm.
Ugh. Doesn't sound appetizing at all.
No, especially when you know what Slurm is. Thus, also benefiting it to be Blight.
Indeed.
Slurm comes from one of these things.
What have we missed? What haven't we talked about?
I don't know. I don't think we've really missed anything.
No. It's been a good day. It's been a good game.
It has been.
I had a lot of fun playing this game. Had a lot of fun with the new upgrades. I feel like once people get their hands on the infantry expansions, what list builds we have right now are just going to expand exponentially.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, up until this came out, there were a couple lists you could run. Now, there's a lot of, I'm struggling to figure out what I want to do because I want to put everything into it and I can't. And there's just so many good things. I think you're going to see combat ingenuity in every Ykar list, at least in one group of archers. But like I'm thinking about my crazy, ridiculous, mean, nasty group of block of worms for damage, and that's probably just going to be something I play with even more now.
Now that Tempered Steel is out, I think I will probably try running a non-blight focused archer block. That's just threat 3 spitting out damage. I don't know how good it's going to be compared to them blighting in small groups, but I'm going to have to try it at least once. Now that I have the option. And I have
run combat ingenuity anyways, because Tempered Steel is a surge ability, but also that way you're going to get like that potential
you can still blight
3 more blights.
If you need to.
Yeah.
Toss that in there. It's not going to hurt.
6 damage and 3 blights.
There is a whole lot of potential. Now you mentioned there's so many things you want to run. Can't run them all at once. Touching on scale here briefly, I just want to say I am really impressed at the points balance in this game. I feel like the 200 point limit, I know we get a lot of people talking about, I don't feel like the scale's big enough. I want to run more troops. I want 300 points. I want 600 points. But 200 points feels just right to me.
It does.
You have to make choices. You have to make hard choices about what you want to do. And you can't take all your best toys at the same time. You can't fill up one side of the table. But
like, similar to your disappointment of being like, I can't wait to do Terrifying Hailry and Blighted Vexilla.
All the
Hold
banners.
on a second, dude.
Every single banner.
Everyone just has a banner. It's just they're
just a
hitting you
block
with
of bannermen.
Yeah. They're just flags and flags.
Flags which, hilariously enough, appear to have a Dakan helmet at the top with a couple arrows stuck through it.
I think it's actually a whole Dakan guy.
It is. It is the rib cage of a Dakan soldier. I love these models.
They've got some sticks or antlers, I guess.
They're all about antlers. The undead champion guy has antlers coming off the back of his armor, too. They're all about that.
And once again, they hit the mold line, or the connection spaces really well in these things.
They did.
They're beautiful. And to the Dakan players, enjoy this guy, because both of his arms are attached to the banner, and you will suffer the same way that all the Wakar players suffered with their damn archers.
Feel our pain, Dakan.
Except you only have however many of these you get.
Which is not
40.
Yeah,
I think
the massive number of archers that we put together on a regular basis.
So that's it. All right. Once again, if you liked it, subscribe. This is probably going to be a separate video at this point because I think we've been talking for a while.
We have. I would like to say, Luke, thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure to play, and it has been wonderful meeting you after basically having this conversation over and over again via chat for the last few months.
Yes. So this is fun. Anyone else from the forums? If you're in Florida, hit me up.
If you're in Texas, we've got a whole group in San Antonio. We can find you a game.
Then you have to be in Texas.
You would have to be in Texas. And as Sam Houston himself once said, if I owned Texas and hell, I'd rent out Texas and live in hell.
All right. Have a good one. Please subscribe.